Thunder rolled across the pasture. Dawn burnt gold over trembling earth as bulldozers tore through my land, carving a jagged concrete path where my cattle grazed. The HOA president stood smirking, waving easement papers like a weapon, mocking farm life as outdated. She hadn't counted on who truly controlled this land. Engines roared, hooves stamped, and suburban entitlement collided with rural reality. Chaos was coming, and the land was about to fight back.
The land warned me before the machines did. Cattle don't panic for no reason. At dawn, their low, unsettled calls carried across the pasture, pulling me from sleep before the engines reached my ears. When I stepped onto the porch, coffee forgotten, the ground itself vibrated. 2 bulldozers were already cutting a straight, ugly line through my south pasture. Orange stakes, survey paint, confidence. I drove down fast and found her standing there like she belonged, the HOA president, crisp clothes, clipboard tucked under her arm, smiling as if she were unveiling a community garden instead of ripping through working land. She called it a shared corridor, waved papers she called an easement, mocked farming as outdated land use. I told her there was no easement. She laughed and told the machines to keep moving. Grass tore, roots snapped. My cattle backed away, confused and stressed, their grazing pattern broken like someone had erased a sentence mid-word. I made calls. She took photos for the HOA newsletter. And when the cattle finally stepped onto the disturbed ground, when a steer slipped into wet concrete and panic rippled through the herd, the whole project collapsed into mud, manure, and ruined cement. The sheriff arrived, my lawyer arrived, and when she couldn't produce a signed recorded easement, everything stopped. But stopping construction didn't stop consequences. It only delayed them.
By noon, the bulldozers were silent, but the HOA president wasn't done. She stood there arguing zoning theory with my attorney while county officials photographed the damage. She insisted approval had been imminent, that verbal assurances had been made, that rural landowners shouldn't be allowed to block community progress. The county inspector listened quietly, then cited the HOA for unauthorized land disturbance, environmental damage, and illegal concrete placement on agricultural land. The concrete company invoiced them for a full lost pour. The contractors billed standby hours. One worker filed a claim after slipping in cow manure that legally belonged exactly where it was. The HOA president stopped smiling. By evening, HOA emails started circulating. Homeowners who had been promised a scenic bike path woke up to the phrase, potential liability exposure. By morning, their legal counsel was scrambling. The easement proposal, the document she'd waved like a shield, hadn't passed county recording. Worse, it referenced the wrong parcel number, my parcel, the one explicitly zoned active livestock agricultural use. The county froze the project. The HOA board demanded answers, and the president started pointing fingers at me. She tried intimidation next. Cease and desist letters, threats of eminent domain, claims that my cattle were a public safety hazard. My lawyer responded with statutes, agricultural protection laws, right to farm provisions, trespass damages, livestock interference penalties. The county added more citations when erosion from the torn pasture began washing concrete slurry into a drainage ditch. Environmental fines followed. The HOA's insurance carrier opened an investigation, then quietly declined coverage due to unauthorized construction. That's when panic hit the board. Emergency meetings, closed-door votes. The president suddenly stopped answering emails. Meanwhile, my cattle adjusted. Animals always do. Once the noise stopped and fencing was repaired, the pasture returned to rhythm. The law, however, kept grinding. The HOA was ordered to restore the land, not cosmetically, but agriculturally. soil remediation, reseeding, fence replacement, veterinary checks for stressed livestock, all at their expense. And still, the president insisted it wasn't over. Her final move was public. At a town meeting, she painted me as anti-community, anti-progress, a stubborn holdout blocking safety infrastructure. She didn't expect the ranchers to show up, or the county ag commissioner, or the environmental officer, or the contractor who testified under oath that she ordered work to continue after being warned. She didn't expect the board to hear the words personal liability. When the vote came, it wasn't close. She was removed as HOA president that night. 2 board members resigned with her. The HOA settled quietly, paid every fine, paid every bill, rerouted the bike path onto land they actually owned, and issued a written apology they asked, politely, not to be shared publicly.
They restored the pasture the way the county required. New fencing, proper grading, grass reseeded by professionals who actually understood soil. The cattle returned to their patterns like nothing had happened. Almost nothing. There's still a faint line in the pasture, if you know where to look, where concrete once tried to replace grass. I left it that way. Not as a threat, as a reminder. This land isn't empty space waiting for development. It isn't outdated. It isn't decorative. It works. And when suburban entitlement collides with rural reality, the land always decides who stays.